Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and spring is in full force. We're just moving along.
Yep.
Everything's looking really pretty. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you something.
What?
Jim bought me a porch goose.
Oh, he did.
It's concrete.
Good.
Yesterday.
So, yeah, I saw where Bullers got some in.
Yeah, Jim and Jack were there. They were picking up that turkey. Remember I told you about the turkey we had to buy because Jack shot a turkey?
Yeah.
So Jim, we had that one there, and Jim said the truck was pulling in.
Yeah, I saw they put it on Facebook.
Absolutely got one of the porch turkeys. We got to paint it and stuff. It's concrete.
The geese will go quick. There's like a porch goose shortage in the United States right now to keep up with the demand because everybody wants one right now. And so like Amazon was sold out. The concrete places were sold out. So I'm glad they got some.
Yeah. So now I've got to paint a big turkey.
And you have to name her. You can name your turkey too, but your goose needs a name.
Oh, I'm going to have to think about it.
There's all kinds of funny goose puns.
Yeah.
You could do like Goose Willis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like Goose-Eel Ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
And
come
then
up
you have
with
to
something.
dress her.
Oh yeah. Jack was like, "Why are we getting this? Why are we getting this goose?" And Jim was like, "Well, we're going to get it for Yaya for Mother's Day." And he was like, "But I don't want a goose." And he's like, "Well, it's not about you. You got the turkey." So Jim,
Good answer, Jim.
They're painting.
Good
it.
answer.
So,
I'm excited for your goose. Where are you going to put her?
well, I haven't decided. If I'm going to put it up on the porch or because everybody comes in our house
Through the sun. You need to put her by the sun porch.
by the sunroom. Yeah.
If you put her on the front porch, she won't be seen very well.
Yeah, but everybody comes in the sunroom. Plus, like when you go to the doors and like on this side, it's got the perfect little nestling because like over here I have those invasions, and over here I have those two wash tubs together with all those, and then I have a thing that hangs there. She'll fit perfect.
Yeah, put
right
her there. Put her there.
Yeah. So I think we've got her spot. She may actually be sitting there now unpainted, but we got to paint her. But Jim was like, I couldn't believe it. He was like, it was just meant to be.
So on the Porch Goose Club of America that I'm a member of on Facebook, there's all these pictures that are posted of people's porch geese, and they're all really cute, and people have really clever ideas on like how to dress them and stuff. But there's this one lady, I hope she doesn't watch our show. She decided that she didn't like the placement of the eyes on her goose. They were just like two dark eyes. Geese eyes are on the side of their head because that's just how God designed geese. And she didn't like that. So she put like a bonnet over the goose head to cover the eyes on the side. And then she painted two eyes in the front that had really long eyelashes, and they like pink eye shadow. And I swear she made this goose look like Miss Piggy.
Really?
She wasn't trying to. Then she posted the picture, and all these people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's like Miss Piggy Goose or something." And she was like, "No, like I just wanted her to have eyes that were on the front. Like, why are they on the side?"
Well, because
we were all like, "Man,
well, because that's how
the
God
internet.
made them. Yeah.
It's the internet, man. You see it all." But
it's so funny.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How funny
so don't
is
do that? When you
I won't.
paint her.
I'll leave her how she is. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's hysterical though. I can't hardly believe that.
Yeah. So,
but people are crazy.
And you said that when you paint your concrete things, you don't seal them you just start painting them with acrylic paint. I have a chicken in the garage I'm going to start painting this week.
Yeah.
That was my grandma's. I'm going to move her around front to sit by Gladys.
Yeah. No, we love it. No, we never have. Yeah. And I think of because what's weird, because Bigfoot we did in September and going through the window, Bigfoot's kind of chipping a little bit, but yet my frog, and we used my frog and my, turtle we did. They're perfectly fine. The frog sat outside, gets all the weather, all the sun, everything. And
what else do they have out there? I might need something.
Everything.
I'm working on my landscaping.
I love all that stuff. People think I'm
Oh, my grandma loved it all too. I must get it from her.
I do
she had
too.
a bunch of them.
Oh, like those stone places we drive by. I'm like, No, I love them.
Yeah.
It's funny, and people are just like, okay, so because like if you look, there's just and we let the kids paint the turkey. Bigfoot's painted like Bigfoot should be. The goose will be painted. The other ones we just let the kids paint, and then I go over and fix it
Your
afterwards.
turtle was really pretty. I could definitely see me liking to have a turtle out there.
Yeah, and he's in the back. Yeah, and then the kids think it's the greatest thing ever. Now the turkey's going. I got to move some things around because there's a spot where I can't get anything to grow. Right there, it's going to be to the left. So Gladys will be over here, or Gladys. My goose will be over here, and
you
then
can name her Gladys if you want.
And he'll be over here,
care.
like where the water thing's at, because he'll sit perfect right there. So we'll probably paint him a normal. I don't know what's going to happen. I may get home and Jim's got Joanna today, but we would never dare paint anything without Jack because he was ready to paint when it was raining the other day. It's like, honey, we can't paint. But yeah, so I don't know what we'll do there. But I love them all. It's kind of like. It's not tacky. A lot of people might think that it's tacky, but they're so perfectly spaced out,
right?
That it's really cute,
right? I agree. Those are cute.
It's not.
I
tacky.
do think it's something you can probably have too many of.
Yeah, there's going to be a point where you have to stop.
Yeah,
but I have a lot. I mean, my house is it's big. I mean, it's
oh yeah,
they're all.
Yep.
My house is deceiving. It doesn't look as big as what it is. But yeah, and then you got that little pool, I can put in places. So I can really space mine out.
Oh yeah.
Really literally like the north side, the east, west side, the south side. I haven't really done anything on the west side because you can't see anything because Jim's always got stuff parked there. But yeah, no, we've got stuff everywhere. They're fun, but those little concrete things are awesome.
Yeah, it makes me want to go get the paint, get ready to paint my chicken.
Well, what are you going to paint your chicken? I'm going to get that. There's a rooster out there that when I get my chicken coop up, I'm going to get a rooster and put it by the chicken coop. Because I can't have a rooster. So I'll just get a concrete one because my chickens are going to be named the 6 Wives of Henry VIII.
And then name the rooster
and the rooster will be Henry.
Yeah, I guess I'll just paint my chicken white with some other little brown or something. I don't know.
How are your chicks doing? Are they still in the house?
So I have new chicks. They were in our guest bedroom for a couple of weeks just because it was really cold out, and they were, of course, in a box. It's not like they had free roam, but they were under a heat lamp and in a box, and they're now in a bigger box in the garage.
Okay.
They're in a refrigerator box.
Okay.
In our garage, still under a heat lamp because
Okay.
they do well under a heat lamp for about the first 8 weeks, and so. They are getting big. They are starting to look more like a real hen and not a chick. And they're good. They're happy.
Yep. So mine are cooking. Stephen Smith is making my chickens for me. I was like, get on my chickens, make my chickens.
They're in the incubator.
I'm like, cook my chickens.
Yes. Don't cook them.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. But yeah, I went out to Tractor Supply and got the 1, 2, 3 backyard guided chicken. So we got that, and I'm excited. The coop is built, but then I ordered this in. So we got the chicken coop, which is small. And then I ordered this big, almost like a dog pen that's tall, and it's got like a UV protectant screen on it, and it's got a door where we can walk in it. So what Jim's going to do is like the chicken coop, he'll attach the coop doors to that so they can.
Will you be able to get your eggs out of the coop without walking through the run?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because this has got like a thing, like where literally like where they lay, you just lift up a thing and gather it's right there. It's easy to get to. I don't have to go in there.
Yeah, that's nice.
But I was going to ask you a question. So do you always because on the side like there's like windows you can open or whatever at night? Do you close all that or do you always just leave that open so they can? It's like you slide it open and there's just like a screen there.
I do not know because I don't have windows. Well, I guess our coop does have a window, but it's to the storage side. You could open it for ventilation, but if I would make sure that like the screen was secure, like a coon couldn't break in.
Well, even if they did, well, yeah, because that would be because like the way it's going to work, yeah. We'll have to check on that. Yeah, I'll have to check on that.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, they'll go to bed.
Oh yeah, they'll go to bed on their own. You don't have to tell them.
Own.
Chickens go to bed when the sun goes down.
That's what somebody said, and then they're up when it comes up.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I've read everything. I got my book marked and everything. I'm ready to go on it all, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun.
Raising chickens. Do we have an ad for today?
Yeah, we do.
What do we have?
Well, after when I was going on our last episode we recorded, we talked about Matt Anthony Wayne, and then I'm like thinking, okay, let's just stick with the Wayne theme and let's do a John Wayne.
John Wayne.
One county in Utah is named after John Wayne. Isn't he handsome?
He is.
My dad loved him.
Back when men were manly.
Men were men.
No shame in that.
How mild can a cigarette be? Make the 30-day Camel mildness test, see why. More people smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Man's idea of a movie hero, and the women agree. 6 feet 4 inches, John Wayne has smashed his way to fame and dozens of knocked down and dragged out, hard-riding, glorious motion pictures. The roles I play in movies are far from easy on my voice. I can't risk throat irritation, so I smoke Camels. They're mild.
I'm reading the bottom of it.
Crack up.
Not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels.
Isn't that almost
if they
crazy?
only knew what we know.
Well, Camels aren't even filtered, right?
Later they were, but I don't think they were in the beginning. I don't know.
Because like you see that picture where it's in the ashtray? That's not a filter. It's ash burning there. It's yeah. But I saw that. I just love that. Roles I play are tough on my voice. I can't risk throat irritation. They're mild. Gosh.
Great picture, though.
And John Wayne, popular, handsome Hollywood star.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yep, with his flannel shirt, leaning against the fence post, holding his cowboy hat, Camel cigarette in the other hand.
I'm telling you. All righty, partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
He is great.
Love me some John Wayne.
Me too.
Okay, well.
Okay.
I think we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll come back, and I don't know what you're going to talk about.
I have a great story about Route 50.
Well, I am excited about that story.
We will be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So my topic today is Route 50, which we know goes right through Flora, Olney, Salem. And I have there was a series of articles that ran in the Advocate Press in 1994. And Marianne Ayers gave me a bunch of stuff before she moved away. And this was in the pile of stuff from her. And so thank you, Marianne. But I was going to just read all of this and take the highlights and make it into one episode. Folks, this is going to be like a small series of episodes because I dug into the first article in this series about Route 50. They're written by a man named Essel Thomas. I'm assuming that's a man, Essel.
Essel?
I don't know who that is. But anyway, it was so interesting. And then I started going to research more parts of just what's in this first section. So I dug into some names and some things, and I didn't get past the first page. So
really?
Yeah. It's very interesting. There's all kinds of towns along the way. So first of all, Route 50 stretches from the East Coast to the West Coast. Ty, you want to pull up a picture there of
Oh, yeah.
This is Route 50, and you can see it starts over in Ocean City, Maryland, and it goes all the way over to Sacramento, California. US 50 east and west, it runs 3,019 miles was the last estimate. Now, it's changed a little bit because of road construction and they've taken out a few curves or whatever, but it's still basically about 3,000 miles. In 1972, it was replaced by some interstate section near the Sacramento area, but basically the path is the same corridor is there. It goes through, St. Louis, Kansas City, so many cities in the Midwest, but it also, this part I didn't know, it goes through a lot of desert and mountains in the West United States, but when it goes through the section of Nevada, it's considered the loneliest road in America. Did you know that?
No.
That's its nickname.
Because there's nothing there.
How Route 66 has, America's, what's they called, America's highway or something
America's
like that.
Highway. Yeah, because you can look once you hit Nevada, when you enter Nevada from the east, and then there's nothing till you leave it on the west side.
Yeah.
That seems like that area, like in the movies, where like you better fill up with gas there, and maybe put some in.
Yeah, and there's actually like if you Google images of Route 50, you don't see images like what we know as Route 50. You see ones of this area. This is called the loneliest road in America.
Yeah, that would be it. I wonder how many miles is that stretch?
I don't know.
Because I get 350 miles to it before I'm on empty. Can you get across there in 350 miles?
I don't know. There's surely a gas station because people get a lot better gas mileage now than they used to.
Yeah.
So,
I'd still fill up than have a couple gas tanks in the back of my car just in case. I've seen some of them movies. Desert people, Which, by the way, this is a bucket list of mine. You're talking here.
Yeah, my bucket list too. I get car sick, so I don't know if I could do it. But how fun would it be to like start in Maryland and drive all the way to Sacramento? How long do you think that would even take you? How many? Well, you wouldn't want to just fly right through. You'd want to stop and explore. So, I think that would be something that you'd want to spend a couple months.
Yeah, this is something that like when we're both done, we're retired, because we'll take the camper. But I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start in Flora, since we have Route 50. Go Flora all the way to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And stop along the way, and then come back, then take a break, then go from Flora all the way to the East Coast. With Route 50 being right in our own town, we have it real, instead of trying, then you could either camp it or you could hotel it or whatever, but you'll want to stop along the way because it's exhausting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would fly out to Maryland and then rent an RV and then drive it. And then when I get to Sacramento, turn the RV in to the rental place and then fly home. Like, that's a lot of driving. I don't know that I could backtrack that much.
Yeah. No, I would.
I'd be sick of it by then.
Yeah. But if you're retired and you got nothing else to do.
At your locally
so then you take Route 50, and then on the way home, you take the interstate. Come up faster.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, because you're gonna be retired. You're not doing anything else.
Okay.
That's when my grandchildren are a little bit older. That's probably where you could still drive. That's probably a 10-year thing out from now, when I'm almost 70.
Before the creation of the interstate highway system after World War II, that's when all of our interstates were built, was after World War II. US 50 was a major east-west route. Numbered highways in the United States follow a pattern of odd numbers for north and south routes and even numbers for east-west routes. Okay. Did you know that?
No. I didn't know east was even, west was odd. My dad taught me that back before we had Google.
No, north and south are even. So like Highway 45 goes north and south, so that's an odd number.
Yeah, and then even numbers
is
so
east
and west. Yeah, my dad told me that before there. I could never read a map before there was that type of thing.
Yep. I'll get to some of this in a little bit, but okay. So where it begins, we're going to start at Route 50 at the beginning. It's the eastern shore of Maryland. Okay, the first permanent European settlement in what is now Maryland was established on Kent Island on the eastern shore in 1631. We're going way back to the Pilgrims. Okay, like this area around Ocean City, Maryland, is the city that's there now. But that's where US 50 actually begins. Okay, before it was US 50, it was a main traveled area. Before that, it was just a trace, a path, kind of like, we talk about the Vincennes, St. Louis trace here, the path between way back before there were any roads in Clay County. There was a path where, wagons went from Vincennes to St. Louis and back. That's kind of how this area was. It mainly just started off as an area where there was a traveled path. It later turned into Route 50, but there are reports of landings by explorers and pirates. Okay, so this is the people that were using the beginning of Route 50, were the explorers that were landing and the pirates that were stopping and the ones that were bringing in goods and stuff. Okay, so because there's explorers and pirates and all this, it's not surprising that this beautiful area is rife with tales of history and legend. There's a particularly appealing one from the times of the Civil War that occurred around the route of US 50 at its beginning. And it's a story about the families of two brothers. They were grandsons of William Paca, P-A-C-A. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of William Paca. Me either. He was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
How is that possible?
Well, because I don't read every name on the whole thing. No, I mean, John Hancock, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. We all know the founding fathers.
Yeah.
But William Paca was probably one of those others that was written in there that we never paid any attention to.
Matt Anthony.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Okay, so William Paca. Huh. They lived in beautiful homes across small narrows off of the Way River. Okay, so these are the grandsons of William Paca. Now, before we go any further in this story, I'm going to read you this story, how it's written, and this is referred to as a legend, and the writer even says, he's not real sure, but I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to come back with what I found in my research.
Okay.
This was written in 1994, which was at the very beginning, baby, of the internet. And I don't think at that time the internet in its infancy was used to research newspaper articles. So that gives you a hint to how this really turns out. Okay. So there's these two brothers, the grandson of William Paca. Oh, you know what? I am going to talk a little bit about William Paca before I go into that, because I have a picture of him.
Oh, yeah, I want to see
a picture of William Paca, because none of us have ever heard of William Paca. There we go. That's him. This is William Paca. Nice guy. Looks like a really kind person, and he signed the Declaration of Independence. He was born into a wealthy family near Baltimore at the age of 12. He went to the University of Pennsylvania, so super smart. Following graduation, he studied law in Annapolis and in England. He returned to Maryland. He settled in Annapolis. He married Mary Chew, C-H-E-U. So her name was Mary Chew Paca. I'm not even kidding. How funny is that?
That's awesome.
I about died laughing last night, and Jason was like, "What is so funny?"
Mary Chew Paca.
I thought you were researching your story, and I'm like, "I am." He's like, "What is so funny?" I'm like, "Her name was Chew Paca."
Did you research this on May the 4th be with you by any chance?
Sunday the 4th? Some of it, yeah.
Mary Chew Paca.
He soon became one of Maryland's leading attorneys. He was an ardent patriot. He preferred to work behind the scenes, and he wrote newspaper articles. With his friend and fellow attorney Samuel Chase, they made a terrific team, with Paca writing many of the speeches that Chase would make. Let's see, he went to the Annapolis, Maryland legislature. He served in the First and Second Continental Congress, and he signed the Declaration of Independence as a delegate from Maryland. He meant it when he pledged his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor. And he would spend thousands of dollars of his own money to supply the American army during the war. He served as governor of Maryland from 1782 to 1785. And when the Constitution was created in 1787, the Bill of Rights was created to protect certain basic rights. He wrote provisions for the freedom of religion, freedom of press, and legal. So this guy helped write the Bill of Rights. Okay, super important guy here. None of us even have heard of him. He suffered a lot in his personal life. His first wife, Mary Chewbacca. I can't help it. It's funny if you've seen Star Wars.
It is so funny.
Okay. She died at age 38, and only one of their 3 children lived to adulthood. Okay. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to go into the story about these sons, and then we'll reflect back on more.
You can start that, and I'll stop
on
you.
why.
It's your time.
So he has these 2 grandsons, so the story goes. Eventually, one died and left his estate, which was called Y Plantation. That is W-Y-E, okay? Y Plantation, to his sons. The Civil War came, and one of those sons went off to fight for the South. That son's portion of the estate was bought at a confiscation sale by his uncle William, owner of Y Hall, across the Narrows on Y Island. So everything around there's Y Island, Y Hall, Y House, Y Plant. It's all part of the same plantation, okay? William was loyal to the Union, and his purchase of his nephew's confiscated lands caused a lot of ill feeling. The absent nephew's brother, John, and his uncle Alfred Jones began to fence in the disputed land. When William heard of this, he and his 3 sons went to stop them. Okay, so the land gets split. The one that owned it from the south, his uncle takes it over. This other brother comes and starts to fence in the confiscated land. Now William, the one that actually owns it goes in to stop them. A confrontation followed, and in the end, nephew John and Alfred Jones were dead. Oh. William and his 3 sons were arrested, and they were tried for the homicides in separate counties, but acquitted in both cases. Now, this William is supposedly the grandson of William Paca, okay? We're not talking about William.
We're talking,
Particularly in border cases such as Maryland, the Civil War split families apart. We all know that. Perhaps then this tragedy was not so unusual for its day. But there are accounts that say it was and give the story all the overtones of a Greek tragedy. Some said William and his sons got off because the courts were Union controlled. Others said that the juries were suborned. Suborned? I don't know what that means. I guess biased. One story claims that William even married a daughter of the juror to win his freedom.
Whoa.
Don't know about that. But there's a lot of ins and outs to this story. And you know why? Because not a darn word of it is true. I have researched this story about William and his sons and this land being split and who owned the plantation. And basically, I can't find that any of it has any truth at all. It is simply a legend. In fact,
what?
There's not. I'm going to go into why plantation. It was not even owned by William Paca. It's a mystery for sure, and I'm going to go into that deeper. But
before you do that,
take a break. We'll be back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready. like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Talking about Route 50 and the history of Route 50, which led me to the beginning of Route 50 and how it started with this Y plantation area and the story of William Paca, one of the signers of the Declaration, and his link to this Y plantation and how his grandsons went off to fight in the war, Union and the South, and ended up kind of splitting the land, and it got ugly, and they died. Two of them died, a nephew and one of the sons died, and then turns out I don't think any of it's true. None of that actually happened. So when I was talking, let's look at another picture of William Paca. When I was talking about William Paca, we talked about him and his wife William married Chupaca, had 3 children, but only one of them lived to adulthood.
Oh, okay.
So supposedly this story was about his grandchildren.
Okay.
Okay. In my research of his children, there were no grandchildren. I couldn't find any grandchildren. Let's go to the next picture.
That's a cool picture.
That is a cool picture of him. He definitely looks like a founding father there.
Yeah, he does. What, babe?
Okay, yeah, let's look at some of the others. Yeah, this is on his stone, 1740 to 1799, signed the Declaration of Independence, 1776, and he was the governor of Maryland, 1782 to 1783. Okay, so that's cool.
He was only governor 1 year?
In my notes, it was 2 years, but that's in stone there, so I guess that was only 1 year. This is the actual monument there, and this is in the cemetery at Y Plantation. So he is connected somehow. But
do you think somebody could have picked up the flower thing before they took a picture?
I know, that bugged me too. Let's go to the next. This is part of the plantation.
That's pretty.
Yeah, there's you can see his stone there off to the left.
I see it, yeah.
There's different homes on the plantation. And the plantation area, from what I've gathered, is really big because at one point, this plantation had up to 3,000 slaves. Really? So you're picturing this as like an area the size of Louisville, basically. Mm-hmm. Later on in the 1800s, they were documented as having like 400 to 500 slaves. Let's go to the next picture.
It's gorgeous.
Okay. Y Plantation, home of William Paca, signer of the Declaration of Independence and twice governor of Maryland. Born at Chilbury Hall, Hartford County, 1740. Died and lies buried here, 1799. The unusual house probably dates about 1740. I don't know what was unusual about it. I didn't go into that. But so there is connection to Y Plantation from him. But whenever I go to Y Plantation, he did not come up as the owner at any point. It was the Lloyd family, the Lloyd family. So let me...
Because on the bottom, you see the crest on top of the Y Plantation sign. There's also a family crest on each stone in the bottom. Mm-hmm. The same crest. So that's...
It's definitely a mystery. I don't know if maybe that my sources just are skipping over him, or if he was somehow connected. But no. So he did have the one son, Henry. listed as one of his children, but Henry only lived to be 1.
Oh.
Okay. And the other children I can't track. That he had. Okay, so that's what he had with Mary. But only one of their 3 children lived to adulthood. Haven't been able to find that child yet. But then he remarried to Ann Harrison. She died.
So he outlived Mary Chewbacca?
Yes, he did. Then he outlived Ann Harrison. She died at age 23, and they had only one child, and she died at age 2.
My goodness.
Paca went on to have 2 other children to women he did not marry. One of them was his daughter Hester, whose mother was a free black woman, creating somewhat of a scandal at the time. But he went on to raise Hester and send her to the finest boarding school in Philadelphia. President George Washington appointed him judge of the court for Maryland in 1789, a post he held until his death in 1799. In later life, he became one of America's wealthiest men. He built Y Hall at his estate on Y Island, Maryland, where he died about 3 weeks before his 59th birthday. Okay, so
he had affairs with slaves?
Yes. So he had affairs with slaves. I don't know how he treated slaves, but this Y plantation, let me find my notes on that. That was controlled by the Lloyd family. So there's all these different, there's Y House, Y Hall. Paca built Y Hall. But when you look up all of it's kind of grouped together under the plantation, okay, which was Y House was the headquarters on this plantation. And this was significant to the Welsh Puritan and wealthy planter farmer Edward Lloyd. And this was between 1780 and 1790. And the main house was built by his great-great-grandson, Edward Lloyd. And they used slaves to build it. They had a ton of slaves. Frederick Douglass, an American slave. We've all heard of Frederick Douglass. He was an abolitionist. He was a writer. He did a lot of things, but he was born a slave. He lived on this plantation at the age of 7 and 8. He talks about this in one of his books. Horrible place. The Lloyds were
not good.
Terrible, brutal slave owners on this plantation. This plantation is still there today. It's at the very beginning of Route 50, and you can go and see it, I think. But that is the barrier plate.
The Y plantation? Is it open to the public?
I think so. It's still under...
Nobody lives there?
No, it's still owned by this Lloyd family. Like the great-great-grandson of these Lloyds still own it. But basically, all of this whole plantation is on the island of Y Island. And the plantation mansion was the home for William Paca for a while, and William Paca is buried there. But I don't think William Paca's family fought over this land. I don't think that there were any fences put up and people murdered or any of this whole legend about William Paca's family.
Jeez.
I don't think any of that's true. But I do feel like there was multiple homes on this plantation, and William Paca lived in one of them. I don't know that he owned it, and I don't know that he built it. The Lloyd family seems to be the ones that were completely over this whole plantation. Did we have another picture that I haven't shown yet? Okay. So this...
Does that say wives?
Yeah. So multiple wives of the signers of the Declaration of Independence are buried where Mary Chewbacca is buried. And I thought this was interesting because I was looking up her grave to see if she was buried at the Y Plantation. And she's not. She's buried at this Christ Church burial ground. And there's a whole bunch of other wives of the founding fathers buried there. The wife of Benjamin Franklin's buried there. The wife of Benjamin Rush, William Paca, the wife of James Wilson, Robert Morris. So this little sign here was put up in 2023. But
that's interesting.
Yeah. So is that the last of my pictures? Okay. Let me pull up where I am in my notes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. But it was quite interesting to figure out how William Paca played into this whole thing, because from my research, it was mainly the Lloyd family, and which it's designated a National Historic Landmark. They changed it to that in 1970, so it's considered a historic residence, built in the Georgian federal style.
It's beautiful. Gosh, I'd like to go see it. What's that?
When they in 2011 they excavated the greenhouse that was on this plantation, and it was built by enslaved African people, and they discovered all of these African charms that were buried around the perimeter of it to ward off bad spirits. So that was, I thought, interesting.
That's very interesting.
But okay, so that is the legend. Oh, okay.
Before we take a break.
That is the legend surrounding the beginning of Route 50 at the very beginning.
Wow, that's just the beginning of Route 50?
Where it begins at Ocean City, Maryland, and this is right at the tip. You're going to get all choked up.
You're going to be covering this for the next year.
Yeah. Any case, retribution was terrible. They're still talking about this murder, but I don't think it happened. William's oldest daughter died of accidental poisoning. William died of dysentery. Another son shot himself, and again, none of these people can I find, and I'm not saying they're not out there, but I did a lot of research and did not track down any of these people. So this author goes on to say, whatever the truth of the story. Way Island today is a sanctuary for people and nature. It is a place of tidal creeks, marsh grasses, woods, and fields, much of which are open to the public to roam and explore. There you go, Stacey.
There we go.
A natural resources management area owned and operated by the state of Maryland. Way Island is one of 3 major natural areas easily available to travelers along US 50. Another is Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge near Cambridge. That one is a 5-mile wildlife drive, observation tower, and a number of foot trails that give a taste of this 17,000-acre migratory waterfowl refuge, full of ponds and marshes and woods, and that's also where the nearby Church Creek, where the I think some of those cemeteries are. So I'm going to stop there before I go into the next part.
Yeah, because we're going to a
very
commercial
interesting part. Wouldn't that be fun to go there?
Oh, I want to go, yeah.
Travel Route 50? Okay.
Heck yeah.
We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Pegel's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Pegel Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me all your lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zane Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to, by the way, Beth and Stacey. So we've been talking about Route 50 and how it starts in Ocean City, Maryland, and some of the craziness around the beginning of it and the plantation that sits there and some legends associated with the plantation near the beginning of the Route 50 corridor. But there's also, I mean, if we did go to Y Island, it would be fun to see all that. But there's another natural area around there called the Assateague Island. That's full of national and state parks. It's a 32-mile long barrier island on the Atlantic Ocean, and it is famous for wild ponies, fine beaches, and the largest undeveloped seashore between Massachusetts and North Carolina. I've seen pictures on the internet of like wild horses on the beaches, and I always wonder, where is that?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's where it's at. It's in Maryland. And I don't think about Maryland being like a super beachy area.
Me neither.
I don't. When I say I'm going to go to the beach, I'm thinking Florida.
Thinking south.
Alabama. Not maybe Myrtle Beach, but like definitely not like Maryland. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It says there's not really any communities there. There's only ocean, bay, beaches, dunes, marsh grass, tidelands, and an abundance of wildlife. So that's that might be a neat area to explore.
It might be interesting though to see when this, when was that written? What year?
This is 94, so I don't know.
God only knows now. Now there's probably a Walmart on every corner.
But Assateague is right, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it's right next to Ocean City now. Ocean City is full of cottages, hotels, motels, amusements, and is a mecca for people each summer who come to sun and swim and boat and fish and party and all that.
You had me on sun and swim. Mm-hmm. I picture. Oh, can't wait.
Yes.
Study all the time.
So let's see what else about. As far as US 50 is concerned, the eastern shore begins and ends at the Chesapeake Bay. The highway crosses that great drowned river over the twin spans of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, 2 spans, 1 name, before taking off on a journey that ends across the continent at Sacramento, California. Now, speaking about Chesapeake Bay, somewhere in my research, I believe it was the Lloyds that owned the plantation. That yes, it was the Lloyds. They are the ones that are given the credit for first breeding and discovering the breed of dog Chesapeake Bay Retrievers. Have you ever seen a Chesapeake Bay Retriever?
Probably on. I love that dog show.
Yeah, the big dog show. Chesapeake Bay Retrievers are curly hair, short curly hair. It water just. They love water. They're water dogs, and the water just flows off of that hair, that curly hair. It won't like hardly absorb the water. Like it just repels it. Like, and they hunt. They're a hunting dog, and they love the water. And I know that because I used to live next door to one, and his name was Chessie.
There you go.
He was a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and he was a very good dog. But anyway, that's how I know what I know about that breed. But this, the Lloyd family that from what I've read, I do not care for. I'm sure the current ones, their descendants, are probably fine people. The guys from way back, not good people. And but they did discover the breed Chesapeake Bay Retriever. So that was a little tidbit I found in my Route 50 research. But let's see if I went on to the next page, if I want to jump into the next story or not. But yeah, all of these were written by a man named S.L. Thomas. Have you heard of that person? Was that a local person, or
Essel,
they're writing for the Advocate Press? So I don't know if it's something that they brought in that they had ran in another newspaper somewhere else.
I'm not sure.
And then
was that all? Did he write? Is this all in one paper?
No, so this ran in different.
So it just went on and on.
Yep, like probably once or twice a week through the Advocate Press, they had another episode, if you will, of it, and there's a whole bunch of them here.
That was good that she gave you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but then the next week, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and it goes through District of Columbia, right through Washington D.C. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't for sure exactly every which way it went.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know for sure.
Yep.
Huh. I have a feeling we're going to find a lot of interesting things on Route 50.
Mm-hmm. There are, and the more I read about it, the more I want to
go
take the trip.
Yeah. Yeah,
or at least watch a YouTube video about somebody else taking the trip.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine there's that. Dude.
Do you ever watch Nate and Kara? They're like travel.
No,
you should watch them. They're on YouTube and they're on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. But they're influencers who travel full time. That's all they do. Married couple, Nate and Kara, and they have been all over the world, like every country, every continent.
Really?
And
Are
they do
like
all these
just wealthy?
adventures. No, like they started off doing this with like hardly any money at all, and they were just going to do it. I think she said like just for a few months, and then they kind of like went viral, and they started making money on it. And they're like, well, let's do it for a few more months. Anyway, it turned into now they've been doing it. Gosh, I think their early videos are from like 2017 or so. Like they've been doing it a long while. All they do is travel.
How old are they?
They're in their 30s, I'd say.
Do they not have children then?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're amazing. So anyway, just Google them, Nate and Kara. But
Nate and Kara.
This would be Nate and Kara. If you're watching our YouTube channel, you should do this Route 50 trip.
Exactly.
Start in Maryland and work your way to Sacramento on Route 50. We would love to watch
Are they
you
Americans?
do it. Yes, they are Americans. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing.
Yeah,
to do.
they have a fantastic life of travel and.
Well, I watched an episode. I stumbled upon. I took a back seat and this is kind of changing gears. I took a back seat from TV and started watching HGTV again.
Oh, okay.
And I love House Hunters. But it's not, but once again, it's like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and he makes umbrellas and our budget's $1.2 million. So I kind of back away from that. But I came across a thing, and it was called Our Castle Remodel. And this young girl and her husband, they don't have any children, she inherited her grandfather's French chateau.
I think I might have watched some of this.
Oh, I'm obsessed. I stayed up till midnight the other night because I stumbled across it. Of course, it's like a 4-story, beautiful chateau, needs tons of work. It has a moat. It's on like 100 acres. There's like what used to be like the servants' quarters, and it's got like horse stables. And what they're doing, because like they sold everything they had in the States. And so they sold everything they had and cashed out everything they had, and they moved to because it's her grandfather's, and he had bought it in the 80s and started remodeling it. And but yeah, so she wants to do that. So the main 2 floors are 2 huge ballrooms. But they were already fixed up, right? So what they do is they have weddings there.
Oh,
so that's how they're making their money.
Okay, good.
So they're having
they
weddings
can get income
there.
off of it.
And then so to make the weddings more beautiful, like the beautiful staircase that goes to then there's 3 more floors. They made that. So that's how they're making money. But the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and 4th floor, like total, just like what you can even imagine. And then like the bell tower. So what the first episode was them redoing the bell tower. Of course, it was like the bells up there and there's birds flying, with droppings and they redid it and made that like their
where they're living, their living
little
space.
Area, yeah.
Wow. I think I might have seen some of that, but I think can I stream that? I need to see if I can stream that.
Yeah, I need to find out because I watch it because I have Hulu. I have
Hulu?
I have Hulu. So I was like, oh, House Hunters. I started watching a little bit of House Hunters, and I was watching that, and they didn't get on my nerves too bad. But then at 11 o'clock, about 11 o'clock, I was like, what's this? And then they showed the French chateau, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
And the beautiful.
Can you imagine?
No, they're just a young couple, and they're trying, and I mean,
Wow.
I was just absolutely. And the outside, it was kind of like a reddish pink. It's not red, but it's not pink, and it's just. Yeah, that bell tower. But the bell tower's ready to fall in.
Oh my!
So that they had to get this guy in there and fix it all up, and I mean, it's just.
Now, are they the type of people that can do some of it themselves?
They're doing it all.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's right in there with him. Yeah, so they're doing it all. So at least when she was married to a guy, that he was able to.
So they don't work because they're just bringing in income from the weddings.
Yep.
Okay.
Bringing income in for the wedding, they're doing all the work themselves. Yeah.
I admire people like that. Good for them.
Well, one good thing that Grandpa did was he actually from what I understand, Grandpa, like when he bought in the 80s, started like going to antique stores. So like there's one like in one of the horse stables where he started buying like period piece doors and windows and knobs and
that was smart.
So when they found that was a big deal because like like they found like this beautiful wrought iron that was original that somebody had taken down through the years. So they're finding he had scavenged onto that and light fixtures and stuff that people had taken down were like, just put it this way. So he found a lot of that stuff and so that was
good.
They're just cleaning stuff up, but my gosh, I can't even fathom the painstakingly.
Yeah, it'll be gorgeous though.
Oh, yeah, I've been to France.
How fun to inherit a chateau.
Why not? Why?
When I hear chateau, what do you think of? That probably. You know what I think of? Cinderella. At the beginning of Cinderella.
Little House on the Prairie.
No, it's not a Little House on the Prairie reference. Cinderella reference. Cinderella was made in 1951 or something like that, 1950. The beginning at the very beginning of Cinderella, her home that she lived in with her dad is referred to as a chateau.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so that she was raised in a chateau.
Yeah.
She went on to live in a castle with her prince, but
yes.
She lived in the chateau with her dad and her evil stepmother.
Well, I want to. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to inherit a French chateau. But if I did, I'd probably be doing the same. Of course, they're in their 20s. Mm-hmm. No, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably have to sell it.
I'd probably have to sell it. I don't have the energy for it.
I don't have the energy.
Maybe my kids would want it, and they could do something like that.
Here I am. It's like, I do it too. It's like I don't even put laundry away. I don't even have the energy to put laundry away. So I doubt if
I want to say something about our show though before you go into that.
Okay.
That Abby looked up why that was an unusual house. On that plaque, it said William Paca's house was unusual.
Yeah.
It was because of the architecture and what else did you say? Just the combination of the architecture and stuff. So it wasn't like it had a lot of really weird stuff about it. It was just that. Interesting that they decided to put that on the plaque. But okay.
Yeah. Who knows about people?
Okay, just want to throw that in before we signed off for the day.
There we go.
Okay, so
here's your sign.
Here's your sign. What do you have?
I left my house dressed in camouflage and carrying a gun. My neighbor asked, "Are you going hunting?" I said, "Nope. I'm running late for my local militia meeting." I went to the doctor's office last week. I walked up to the desk and asked the nurse. I walked up to the desk and the nurse asked, "Are you sick?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm fine. I just came here because I'm trying to catch something."
Well, there's a little truth in that. My gosh. I felt like every time I took the kids to the doctor this year, I was going to go home and end up sick from all the germs.
I could go up. We got this. I got to keep going. Not long ago, I took my wife to a movie. While we are standing in line, the guy behind us asked, "Is this the line for the movie tickets?" I said, "Nope. We're in line for the soup kitchen." He's funny.
He is funny.
He's funny.
Oh, that's good stuff.
A good one.
That's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Anyway,
That's it.
as always, you can catch us on Wabash Catch TV, channel 100, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and then again at 3 p.m. each day. Our new episodes air on Thursdays and Fridays. Our new episodes are added to our YouTube channel on Mondays, and you can find all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just type in Beth and Stacey on YouTube. You'll see our picture come up. Click on that, and voila, you are on our YouTube page, and you can watch everything there. If you've missed any, that is where you can find them. And you can also like and follow us on Facebook. So that is it for today, and we will catch you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.